Hello, everybody, and welcome to DRL TV. I am your host tonight, James Pandoff. With me, as always, is Taylor Butcher Benjamin. How are you doing tonight, Taylor?
I'm doing really good, James. Should be a pretty entertaining race tonight here at the Tricky Triangle. 2 miles, 2.5 miles, three separate corners, and they don't call this place the Tricky Triangle for nothing, because it's not only just three turns, but they're all completely different with different amount of banking. And the first time we were here back in June, this place certainly got the best of a lot of people, as we had 11 caution flags in a 70-lap race. Actually, it was 73 because we had a green-white checkered, and yeah, that was a lot of. Maybe sometimes you can put it as too much excitement, but hopefully we have a better showing tonight, as we have 24 drivers in the server right now, and it should be a good race.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this one, see if these guys can rebound after their first race. Last Pocono, it was actually a Cup Series driver that won. That was Thomas Harmon. And tonight, there are no Cup or Grand National drivers, so we will have a Truck Series winner tonight, and possibly a Truck Series driver getting their first win of the season, locking them into the playoffs.
And there are still several drivers who are capable of picking up that first win. Guys like Corey Sherman, who's right now third on the board in qualifying, and Marvin Winkfield, after coming within a lap of winning the race in June, only to have contact with Thomas Harmon in turn one on the white flag lap. So he's definitely looking for redemption tonight, as are quite a lot of other drivers.
Yeah, one driver in particular I can think of is Jarrett Rogers, who almost picked up the win a couple weeks
That's
ago.
right,
Uh,
at Kentucky.
yeah, a little controversy there. He came up, or the guy came down, but at the end of the day, he still managed a top 10 finish, and right now currently fifth on the board in qualifying. Oh, and he hits the wall in his second lap, so he's going to have to rely on that first lap of a 54.583 to get him in his qualifying position.
I see Daniel Holloway, he hit the wall on his first lap, so he's going to have to rely on this second lap with the damaged right side.
Yeah, that's definitely going to affect his aerodynamics. These long straightaways are really necessary to have a clean truck, a smooth truck, so that wind can just, you can cut right through that wind is what I'm trying to say. As he sets a 57.374, good enough for 12th at the moment. We have 30 seconds left in qualifying. Let's see if we can see anybody else on the track at this time.
See a lot of people sitting at the start-finish line to start at the back on purpose. Of course, we have to, in this league, it's a must that you put down a qualifying lap, or else you'll have to serve a penalty at the beginning of the race, which you definitely would not want.
Yeah, although this track is big enough that you don't go a lap down if you had to serve that penalty, is definitely not what you want. As you saw, Roy Grande set almost a 2-minute qualifying lap. He was able to cross the line, so no penalty for him.
Let's go ahead and pull in our pole sitter, Richard Springer, and that's his second pole of the weekend. Also won the pole in the Cup race on Monday night. Let's see him down here in Dysfunctional Patriots. Hey, Richard Springer, it's the broadcast booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you. What's up?
Well, you've certainly been fast this week at this racetrack, regardless of what vehicle. On Monday, you won the pole for the Cup race, and tonight again on the pole. What do you expect for tonight?
At 3 laps, it gets real loose. It's tight, and it gets real loose off the corner. So I don't expect mayhem, but we may see.
Well, Richard, unlike the Cup Series, you are competing for the points here tonight. Will we expect to see you a lot more aggressive tonight compared to Monday?
I think what I'll do is what I normally do. Probably let the guys that want to race hard go. Maybe fit in here 5th or 6th, something like that, and then see if I can find a spot to run for a while and see what my tires do in the long run.
Alrighty,
Well, we certainly,
oh,
yep,
go
we
on,
certainly look forward to seeing what you can do here tonight. See if you can get win number 3 here at the Tricky Triangle. Good luck.
Thank you, man. Have a good broadcast.
Yep,
Thank you.
thanks.
That was Richard
Richard's-
Springer.
Yep, he finished 10th in the Cup race from the pole. Would have finished higher if it wasn't for a pit road speeding penalty under green. But he certainly has shown a lot of speed. And of course, the man next to him, Jeffrey Meyer, our points leader, already with 5 wins this season.
As the pace car begins to roll off, these
Check
big
that, 4 wins
tracks
this season.
are going to take a while for these guys to get going. While they do parade around here, let's take a look at our starting grid. We have Richard Springer in the 21 on the pole. Jeffrey Meyer, the points leader, starting second. Third, we have Corey Sherman in the 6th. Fifth is Steven Sims, and Jarrett Rogers in that 9 will start 6th. Adam Purcell in the 58 starting 7th. Jordan Berry starting in 8th. Austin Cawthon will begin tonight in 9th, and Terrence Ney 10th. David Warburton Jr. will begin 11th, and Casey Drake outside of him in 12th. Matt Vanderkoy in 13th. Trent Helt in 14th. Daniel Holloway starting in 15th. Cody Gasky will begin outside of row 8. Dustin Eichert 17th. Roy Grande 18th. 19th belongs to Cody Barber, and Marvick Wingfield will start 20th. Austin Collins has a win this year, starting 21st. Dakota Wilkins starting 22nd. PJ O'Leary will start 23rd. And race control tonight is David Wright. And Adam Breeden, I'm not sure if he gridded, but he will be starting last tonight.
Yeah, I believe he did grid. He's just at the tail end of the field catching up. I already see some right rear damage on that truck for some reason. I wonder what that's all about. As he tries to catch the rest of the field, as they're in the middle of turn 3 to get this show on the road, James.
Absolutely, the pace car is getting ready to duck onto pit lane. Richard Springer is going to lead him to the line. And we are underway here at Pocono.
Didn't look like this quite the start Richard Springer wanted. They're already 3 wide for the lead as Corey Sherman tries to take advantage of Springer's not so great start.
All these guys jostling around. We saw 4 wide a little in the back, but it's still 3 wide through 1.
Sherman's going to clear him off 1, but Springer's going to cross him over and try to retake the lead. Of course, it's a bonus point. Oh, Jeffrey Meyer, and they get together in a big one already. Not even 1 lap complete.
We got guys on their roofs too. This is not what you wanted to begin this one.
And that all started with the 58 and Jeffrey Meyer getting together. Adam Purcell in the 58.
See if I can rewind it a little more like that. We're jumping on board 50. See the 58 just keeps on moving up slightly. They make contact, sending the 50 and the 58 in the wall, and then mayhem behind him. See the 29 barrel rolling after hitting that inside wall.
And Dakota Wilkins in the back of the field got collected. So did Terrence Ney. Yeah, this looked like 58 kept on coming up a little bit, maybe to side draft that 50 of mine. But definitely something you don't want to see on lap 1 of one of these races. I already have about 8 trucks torn up. I'm sure a lot of unhappy folks.
As you see Dustin Eichert try to get through there, and the 28 just ends up hitting him in the back. So a little bit of damage there to Dustin Eichert. He should be able to compete still. Let's see what we got going on for pitting. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles currently on the pits. I know a few came out. I think that was, what do you think, 9, maybe 10 trucks collected in that one?
I see Daniel Holloway coasting around the truck with damage along with Cody Barber. According to scoring, Richard Springer, despite that not so great initial start, was able to repass Corey Sherman in the tunnel turn before the caution came out, so he will be the restart leader.
I want to watch this one on the point of view of Jared Rogers, see if we can see exactly what he saw.
See a little damage to his front end around the hood area and down around the splitter, but not too bad considering.
As they dive into turn 1, you can see the leaders with 3 wide to this point. Going down the long straightaway, you see he's looking to the inside, and a perfect view seeing the 50 and the 58 get together. Getting on the brakes, going high, avoiding that wall, avoiding the 58, and he's able to get through that. Great job there by Mr. Rogers getting through that one.
Yeah, that was a really close call, and I'm looking back even further. He got his damage actually at the start-finish line on the initial start in a bit of an accordion effect with the 29 of Adam Ferree. So that's where that damage came from, but as far as the wreck, he made it through without a scratch in that circumstance. And still currently riding under caution here in the 6th position. David Wellborn Jr. made it by that crash also when he's being scored up in the top 5.
Oops, sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen, that little notification. My apologies.
Matt Vanderkooi took quite a ride too. There was about 2 or 3 trucks airborne, but that 29 of Adam Ferree had the wildest ride of them all.
Let's see if we can get an interview with Adam Ferree while we're pacing. Hey Adam, this is the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
You have a copy.
Well, sir, you had one heck of a ride. Walk us through it.
Well, I mean, terrible start by everyone. You know, check up, got rear-ended before I crossed the start-finish line, and then coming out of turn 1, I saw someone hit Meyer, and I checked up, and I mean, there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Big wreck in the beginning of this one. We were talking about earlier how the June Pocono race that had multiple cautions as well. Going into the start of this one, was there a feeling amongst the drivers that it was going to be a wild race?
No, I don't think so. I mean, but that's a typical race. You know, we wreck before we get a green flag lap, and I don't know. Come back next week and try. Actually, I won't. Well, maybe.
Well, it is Eldora, so certainly a lot of action going to be there next week, but certainly understand the frustration not being able to make it past lap 1 after winning our last event. Hope to see you back soon, and have a good rest of the night.
A good one, guys.
A very disappointed Adam Ferree. Quite understandable too. Just one of those things that happens.
And he's already called it a night, as obviously too much damage to continue, at least not for another probably 30 minutes or so. And he does have 2 wins, so his playoff spot isn't affected any bit. But I mean, that's the nature of racing. Winner of our last week and not able to complete a lap after getting caught up in a big wreck tonight. That's the ups and downs of auto racing for you. Hopefully these guys can settle down a little bit as we get 1 to go at the start-finish line. Richard Springer elects the inside lane. He's even get a better start than he did on the initial start after allowing the 6 of Corey Sherman to take him 3 wide.
A bit
entering
of
turn
damage
1.
there on the 58 of Adam Pacell, who's currently sitting on pit lane. Still,
And that's a big deal for him because he entered this race about 7 points outside the cutoff line.
Hey, Dakota Wilkins, this is the broadcast booth. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Dakota, nothing short of a wild start here, and you did end up in that wreck. Walk us through it.
Came out of turn 2 and they were just wrecking and really had nowhere to go. If I slammed on the brakes, like to lock him up, I was just going to slide into him anyway. So I was tried to slow him down as much as I could and hoping he'd roll all the way. And unfortunately, he didn't. And it sucks. People are being, don't want to start any drama or anything like that, but people are being idiots on lap 1 and takes out half the field, and it seems like it's a every week thing.
Well, it looked like you had the right idea of starting in the back to try to avoid something like this, but just nowhere to go once it all started to unfold.
Yeah, last time I came here, I started in the back and just worked my way up front, and I'm not confident in my ability here at Pocono, so I figured I'd do the same and hope for the best, and I guess this week it didn't work out.
Well, next week we had the Eldora dirt track. How do you feel on the dirt as we're about to go green as Richard Springer leads into the line? How do you feel about Eldora? How do you feel your chances will be next week?
I like to think they're good because I love me some dirt track racing, but trucks handle a lot different than actual dirt cars, and it's going to be a crapshoot there as well. But hopefully, I can kind of match what I did last year and get a top 5 and maybe even win.
Alrighty, Dakota. Well, we are currently under green flag conditions, so we're going to let you go. But thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and we hope to see you back on the track before this one is over.
Yep, hopefully we'll get back on there and gain a couple spots.
Yep, and as Dakota patiently waits for his damage to be repaired, he had the right idea, the same idea he did in the first race, and have contemplated into a top 5. But not so fortunate tonight, as I don't know what's going on here in the back. Richard Springer gets a huge jump, but man, it's just chaos in the back of the fields. We have one truck diving on the pit road. That is PJ O'Leary in the 52.
Yeah, these drivers are duking it out still. 1 lap complete. You see Corey Sherman dropping back a couple positions as Jerry Riders was able to get by him. Casey Drake looking to the inside of that 96 of David Wellborn Jr.
Much better restart for Richard Springer, and I'm sure he's happy he's out in front of this mess right here, because a lot of people were hoping they would settle down, but I mean, they're racing just as hard. So 58 is back on the track, and they overlap him once again.
Yeah, doing a great job staying high in 3, letting these guys get around him.
Still 18 out of the 24 trucks that started on the lead lap. See PJ O'Leary with some damage. He had just made a pass through down pit road as he didn't get a qualifying time in, and he actually just hit the wall.
Going back up front is Richard Springer by about 1.5 seconds lead over Steven Sims in that 79.
It's a good time for Springer to take it easy a little bit, because I mean, these tires really take abuse here, because like we talk about, as we see some 3 wide in the back of the field, as we talk about, it's 3 separate corners. Usually, most racetracks, you just have 2 big corners to negotiate through, but there's 3 very long sweeping corners, and again, they're all banked differently, so it really takes a toll on the truck. Oh, look at Casey Drake trying to get on the inside of David Wellborn. We see the draft does play quite a bit of a role here. With these super long straightaways, especially on the front stretch, it's the longest straightaway in all of NASCAR. And that's why this turn 3 is the most important corner on this racetrack in order to carry enough speed and keep your momentum up. Because if you have a bad turn 3, you're going to pay the price all the way down the front stretch.
Absolutely. As you see that 45 of Austin Coughlin push Jared Rogers all the way down that front stretch you just mentioned, and he's going to look to his inside, try to make that pass, and that will be from third.
Austin moving up after starting from 9th. Although there's a cluster of trucks behind them, though. Springer still maintaining about a 1.5-second lead over Steven Sims. And Cothran's going to get that 3rd spot from Rogers. It's really difficult to run side by side through the tunnel turn.
A little bit of a checkup there in 3. Everybody able to avoid contact as Casey Drake is on the rumble strips.
Yeah, you want to get those left sides right down around those rumble strips, but if you get too low, that truck will definitely bounce, and I was very fortunate that you didn't have someone directly on his door, because that could have resulted in some serious contact.
As you see, Casey Drake going to the outside. As he gets a bit loose, he's able to save it, though. Cody Sherman and David Warren Jr. are going to be side by side, race down into the tunnel turn.
I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me for a second. I saw that truck get sideways, but nice job. And he's someone who really needs just a clean, solid, uneventful race, as the past couple of months for him have been absolutely dreadful. I mean, this is a young man who was leading the point standings at the beginning of the year and has just had a really tough time recently. Springer has stretched his lead out to 2 seconds. That all-important clean air. This field getting a little more spread out. As we are working lap 12 out of 70 here tonight. Marvin Wingfield has moved from 20th to 9th. Austin Collins from 21st. Oh! As he has a big moment off the tunnel turn there, but he's moved up into the top 10. Daniel Holloway looks like he's got the damage repaired for the most part after being involved in that first lap wreck. And he's on the back bumper of Collins, looking to break into the top 10 himself. Comes Casey Drake, he's in the draft, and Corey Sherman's in his draft, and we have a crash out of turn 1. See the 09 of Trent Helt spinning down towards the inside wall, and the caution is out. Somebody else up ahead of him was involved as well.
Looks like the 09 just got loose through turn 1. Able to keep minimum damage to the truck.
Yeah, behind him it was the 7 of Dustin Eichert, who actually in front of him, kind of separate incidences.
As you see him going through the tunnel turn.
Eichert was running in the 14th position last time by, but looks like they did basically the same thing. Just lost rear grip on the exit of turn 1. Richard Springen saying, darn it, guys, because he had stretched his lead out to about 2.7 seconds. And before that caution came out, Steven Sims had quite a big slide through turn 1, and that allowed Austin Cawthorn to get by for that second position.
As these guys go through turn 3, we should be getting the 1 to go signal here.
Should see some pit stops first. Austin Cawthorn with a little damage on his right rear. Yep, here comes just about everybody.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to really stay out.
And there's really no need at this point. From here, it's possible to maybe make it on one more stop.
As you see all the trucks filing in their pit stops, we'll see the race off pit road and see who will win it. As you see one truck already on the move. Looks like the 77 of Roy Grande, but it's Richard Springer that's going to win it, followed by the 45. There goes Sherman, Tracy Drake, David Warborn. And the
I
rest
believe I'm watching Roy Grande. He actually had quite a bit of difficulty getting into his pit stall. I believe he just decided to drive right through and come in again. Might have had some contact. Yeah, he did have some contact trying to enter his pit stall from behind by Dustin Eichert. So he'll definitely have to come back in. Free pass will be Adam Purcell. He'll get one of his... He was 4 laps down, now he'll be 3 down as he circles around the track. Let's see who we can talk to real quick as the field catches up to itself.
Looks like Adam Breeder's coming down pit lane. That's going to give the lead back to Richard Springer.
Hey, Jarrett Rogers, you got a copy, sir? This is the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, looking pretty decent so far after the heartbreak 2 weeks ago in Kentucky. Kind of an eventful first lap, both on the initial start and missing that huge crash. But so far, so good. Although I see some damage now on the right rear of that truck. Do you think it's going to affect you much, and how's the truck been handling overall?
Well, it's hard to say how this damage is going to do. I just got a Ghost 4X here with the 79. We're not really sure what happened, and we both got damage out of it. So it's kind of bad luck there, but based off what I've seen happen, I'll take that for the worst luck of the night.
Yeah, I'm looking back on it. That was interesting. I'll look at it as it happened on pit road, and I would have expected that he would have ghosted through you, but that's kind of a strange deal. But so far, you're right. I mean, we're going to be back here in 12th, so you think the truck will handle differently back in all these trucks, or what do you think is going to happen?
I'm sure it'll probably start pushing a lot more. These things are getting awful tight, but they start breaking loose like we just saw, so it's probably going to be interesting back there. I'm just going to kind of take it easy and hopefully make it through it one by one. I feel like I got pretty good speed on most of these guys compared to what just got wrecked out, so hopefully we'll make it right back up here.
James, you got anything for Jared before we let him go?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. Wish you luck out there, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was kind of a strange deal there, as they both entered their pit stalls, Rogers and Sims. I would have expected them to kind of be in the no contact zone, but looking at Sims, he took some damage in that, and that really cost them both, as Sims entered the pits in 3rd, and now is being scored in, it's going to be 12th now, as it looks like Marvin Wingfield is coming in to top off the fuel, maybe?
Yeah, both him, PJ, and Matt Vandervoort are down in pit lane. probably either fixing damage or topping off. As the field is double stacked, we're going to be going green very shortly.
Yeah, I know Vanderkoy still has some damage to fix. So actually 2 incidents where we had some contact on pit road. First with Roy Grande and Dustin Eichard. And also 2 of the guys up at the front, Jarrett Rogers and Steven Sims, and they're going to have their work cut out for them now, restarting as far back in the field as they are.
As the field works their way through the tunnel turn.
Going to be about 53 laps to go, so I would assume guys would be, they'd be able to make it on one more stop if we go green the rest of the way. Now in the cup race the other day, we could go about 30 some. And obviously these trucks don't produce as much horsepower as the cup cars, so I would think they'd be in position to make it on one more stop. As Richard Springer is on the loud pedal, and he gets a good restart.
That he does, as he's the only man out there. The 45 is going to try to put a block on the 6. The 6, of course, Sherman decides to tuck in. Wide behind.
Well, Austin Cothran, he missed the wall, but it looked like he was in a 4-wheel drift out of turn 1 that time. And here comes Corey Sherman trying to fill that hole and take over second spot. But like we say right there, it's so tough to run side by side through the tunnel turn. And that loss of momentum is going to allow David Wellborn Jr. and Jordan Berry to pounce.
Wellborn should be able to clear him, but if Berry has that run on that high side, he might be able to get back to him, but Wellborn shuts the door. You see Berry getting right to the back bump of the 96, giving him a push down the straightaway.
Comes Corey Sherman again. He got a nice draft off the back end of the 45. Meanwhile, Richard Springer is setting sail once again while these guys duke it out behind him, already out to a full second.
Yeah, this is what he wants to see. He wants to see second and third side by side, race each other as hard as they can while he just easily pulls away. Wellborn looking for the outside of the 6. He better be careful. The 6 is blocking pretty well. Through turn 3, 96 has the inside advantage on the 6. Casey Drake looking to follow.
A really good corner by Wellborn right there, keeping that truck low, not completely on the curb like we saw earlier with Casey Drake, but right on the edge of it, right on that yellow line. Although Sherman's fighting back on the outside, but what a great run Wellborn's having so far the beginning part of this race, as he had to check up there though.
Second and a half advantage he has over the rest of these guys.
Here comes Drake. See if he can do anything in this tunnel turn.
Right behind them, Jordan Berry and Daniel Holloway are battling it out for 6.
You see just how flat that turn 3 is. I mean, it's kind of similar to Milwaukee. That's why I want to be right down on that yellow line, right on the edge of that rumble strip.
Daniel Holloway did a nice job using that side draft on the 57, able to pull himself in front of him as he goes to work on the 87.
back here. Cody Gatsky has moved up into the top 10 and 9th.
On board with Daniel Holloway as they go down the short chute. Going to be entering turn 3.
See what kind of line he takes through here. Not right on that yellow line, but still making some pretty good time and able to keep his momentum and keep his foot in the throttle. See what kind of RPMs he reaches here. That's the difference about these new trucks, is that they are kind of bogged down. See, it doesn't even get up to 7,000 RPMs and drops down to about 5,200. Some people shift here at Pocono, but we see Daniel is not doing that. See about 155 through the tunnel turn. Speed will build back up over close to 173 right there, entering turn 3. You see there's a gaggle of trucks up in front of him, though, that are fighting it out. David Wellborn and Austin Cothran, as Corey Sherman was able to get around Cothran and has driven away from him by about 4/10. This is some good action right here, as Wellborn should have the 45 clear, and he does, and Drake's going to try to follow. Man, you just got to be so careful through that tunnel turn. Very fast, very narrow, and tough to negotiate as Drake completes the pass. Richard Springer has built that lead up to 2.2 seconds. Oh, got a crash off turn 1. Several trucks. Cody Gatsky, PJ O'Leary become involved. And we're under caution for the 3rd time tonight. Looked like Steven Sims was the first one to go around. Oh, and just nowhere for the 27 to go as the 79 slides right down his path. Cody Barber in the 28 took some damage.
Yeah, Steven Sims gets loose there. 27 hits the side of him. And Barber's nowhere to go. Same with PJ, nowhere to go.
Yeah, we saw that with the 79 right before that second caution came out, and that's how he lost that second position. But his problems continue. First, that incident on pit road with Jarrett Rogers in the 9, and now quite a bit of damage, as it seemed like this wreck continued on into the tunnel turn even, as Cody Barber was coasting along the inside. I think the engine blew. Yeah, the engine blew, and he hit the wall again. So that's going to put an end to his evening. And also in turn 3, Trent Helt trying to lip around the pit road, trying to get on the, he was on the access road and was going too fast and slid into the grass, and then his truck kind of pulled a wheelie through there. So we'll have pit stops once again. This won't, these guys won't be able to make it to the end from here. Still one more pit stop after this. David Wellborn stays on the racetrack. Looks like he's the only one to do so. We've seen him do this several times, but just to try to lead a lap, well, if he was at the back of the field, but interesting to do that while running in third place. Corey Sherman overshot the box, so did Jarrett Rogers. Some pretty tough pit stalls to get into, kind of like at Daytona and Talladega with how slick they are. And it looks like Austin Cawthron beat Richard Springer out of the pits. Followed by Casey Drake.
Corey Sherman.
And Daniel Holloway behind them. So what do you think about that decision, James, with David Wellborn staying out? I know we've seen him do it in the past to try to lead a lap, but to do it while running up in the top 3.
I mean, he's shown he does have a fast truck here tonight, but tires do matter. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain his own, and if he does get eaten up by the guys on fresh tires, hopefully he'll be able to be passed without any issues.
Let's see as he comes around turn 3 now, what he elects to do. Looks like he's going to come down. That's a very interesting decision to surrender third place just to get a lap lead. Maybe he's a little uncomfortable where he is while running up at the front, so maybe he just wants to hang out for a little while and make it to the end. So Austin Cawthron is going to be our new leader. Third different driver to lead tonight, 2 lead changes. And now down to just 14 trucks on the lead lap. Let's see who we can talk to real quick. Hey, Jordan Berry, this is DRL TV. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Well, pretty solid run for you so far, up in the top half dozen here. We've seen a lot of pretty good battles on track. How's your truck handling for you, and what's it going to take to get up there and up into the top 5 or maybe even more?
Well, it's after about 9-10 laps, she gets pretty loose. So trying to save those tires, if we can get past that 10 lap marker, will be a big thing. And to be honest, just trying to keep her cleaner.
You've certainly done a good job keeping your truck clean. Where do you think your truck's handling the best? Which corner?
If I can figure out that tunnel turn every time, I'm getting a big run there. And just dragging the brake a little bit in one. That's where I'm feeling comfortable, and I haven't quite figured out what I guess I call through.
Yeah, those 2 corners are definitely very important, as looks like some guys behind you are topping off the fuel. Looks like you're coming to 1 to go, so I'll put you back down. Where were you again?
Just momentum's good.
All right. Yep, we're coming to 1 to go. So good luck out there, and hope to talk to you later on.
Thanks again.
Yeah, several trucks in the back, including Marvin Wingfield. Of course, I don't think they can't make it on fuel from here, so maybe this another ride in the back type scenario that they're going for. Steven Sims getting the EOL from Race Control. Now coming up next week here on Dynasty Racing League, the stars of the Cup Series will hit Watkins Glen Road Course. That ought to be an interesting race. 11 corners. Both the Xfinity race will also be there. Both of those races starting 9:30 Eastern Time on Monday and Tuesday respectively. And of course, stay tuned for next week for the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. Will be in action at the famous dirt track at Eldora. That's going to be one exciting event. I can tell you that, James.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. As well as I'm looking forward to the Truck Series racing at Eldora next week for 75 laps on that half-mile dirt track.
Now let's see what Austin Cawthorn can do on this restart as the control truck. He takes off immediately. Casey Drake, the lonely driver down there on the low side. A lot of trucks behind him lined up, but he maintains that third position through turn one. Behind him, Jordan Berry looking for a way around Corey Sherman. Ducks back in line. Comes Austin Collins and Roy Grande battling for 8th and 9th. I'll see what David Wellborn can do right now as he crosses the line up here on the in the 10th position. Still a very interesting decision by him to get a lap led, but to surrender a top 3 running position to do so. See if he can keep his truck out of trouble and fight his way back. But he's got a good run on the 77 of Grande, and see if he can complete that pass through the tunnel turn. And that he does, and up in front of him for about 3rd and 4th. It's getting pretty busy as Casey Drake is taking 2nd away from Richard Springer. Now here comes Corey Sherman. See how Springer's truck handles now that he's back in traffic a little bit. He's been in clean air out front all by himself the entire race. We know just how different these trucks drive when they get back in dirty air. Casey Drake is within sight of the 45 of Austin Cawthorn. Both of these drivers still looking for their first win in the Truck Series as Cawthorn just kisses the wall. And Drake's going to dive low, trying to get to his left rear quarter panel. As the field comes by to complete lap 31, and Drake in the draft of Cawthorn, and here he goes. See how hard he
inside. Turn 1.
drove it very hard in. Well, that might cost him on exit, though.
No, 45's gonna have that run on that outside.
And look out just that little bit of side-by-side racing right there. That allowed the 6 of Corey Sherman to close on the bumper of the 87 of Drake. Oh, 45 hits the wall.
Hits
pretty
Drake
hard.
To the inside, he's going to be able to pass him. I think the 6 will pass him as well. Same with the 21, who's going to look through his inside.
And we saw him scrape the wall off that corner the previous lap. And that time he just had a really bad push up there. And Casey Drake took advantage of it, and he's now our new race leader. Here comes Richard Springer trying to take second away from Sherman. Jared Rogers has fought his way back into the top 6 after that pit road contact with Steven Sims. Springer clears the 6 of Sherman for second, and now Jordan Berry's looking to follow him.
.45's definitely falling off pace a bit.
Yeah, that was a pretty severe hit he took into the outside wall. I'm sure that truck is not going to be driving the same for the rest of the race. I wonder how much. I'm sure it's going to take away a lot of straightaway speed. But what a shot in the arm this is for Casey Drake after just an abysmal last couple of months. Out front here at Pocono, and has a good shot at his first win in this series. Right now this track temperature is about 109 degrees, which was basically what it was at the end of practice. Oh, we have one driver going into pit road. That's Marvin Wingfield, it looks like.
Yes, he is. This might be scheduled.
And wonder if...
I don't see any damage on his vehicle. He did overshoot his pit stall, though. That's going to hurt him time-wise.
So, I guess in his mind, he feels like he can make it the rest of the way. As we are about to complete halfway this time around. That's the good thing about this Pocono racetrack of just how long and big it is. It's kind of like a road course, how once you get in your pit window, wouldn't be a bad idea to come in because you can make that pit stop without going a lap down. We see the 45 of Cawthorn continuing to drop back. He's trying to fight his way back up alongside Wellborn for, that's a battle for 8th and 9th. And Wingfield's about a straightaway ahead of our leader, Casey Drake, so as long as he can make it on fuel by doing this, that's a pretty good idea by him. Oh, look at Casey Drake, sideways off turn 3. Great job saving that truck, but he had about a second lead and he lost just about half of that lead with that slide. That's the second big moment he's had tonight. Now Springer's close enough to be able to catch his draft and mount a challenge. Jordan Berry behind them in third, followed by Sherman and Holloway, the top 5. Wellborn trying to make some more noise as he's underneath the 99 of Collins.
These guys seem to have single filed out for the most part.
Well, now that we've seen Marvin Wingfield hit pit road for what we would assume would be his final pit stop, I wonder if anybody else will have that idea in mind to pit early. Now that I would assume they're in their fuel window, if We can see just how fresh tires, as well as clean air. Like that last lap, Marvin Wingfield ran a 55.067. Our race leader, Casey Drake, ran a 56.5. So a second and a half difference, fresh tires, compared to the tires that these leaders are on. See the difference in lines off the corner between second and third place trucks of Springer and Barry. Saw Barry a little more shallow on exit. Well, now that Drake has kind of regathered his composure after that big slide off turn 3, he's not really pulling away, but he's still kind of maintaining that half-second lead. Although another mistake like that, and Springer will be all over him. Oh, David Wellborn sideways off turn 2, and around he goes. Keeps it off the wall, and everybody else misses him.
He does a great job turning it to the left and not coming back up across the track. Let's see if we can get a replay of that.
Looked like he might have. Looks like he got a little bit. Those left sides under the yellow line through the tunnel turn. That really upsets the truck, and especially on exit, and he just couldn't catch up with it. But like we said, did a terrific job of keeping it out of the inside wall and then keeping it out of traffic. I'm curious to see now what Marvin Wingfield does, considering it's been only 4 laps since he pitted. I wonder if this might play into what he was thinking, to get in his pit window, maybe get a caution, and then stay out without many hard laps being run on those tires. Because obviously everybody else will pit here. And this would definitely take all the fuel concerns out of the equation. Unless possibly we get a green-white checker, but I still think they'll be okay even if we get one of those. Of course, the fortunate thing for these drivers, it's only one attempt at a green-white checkered, so it's not like they have to deal with 3 or 4 or even more like some other leagues. So here they come. So it could be paying attention to what the 19 of Wingfield does. Looks like Wingfield is actually coming back in. Let's see who wins the race off pit road here. As it looks like Richard Springer, with that number 1 pit stall, takes advantage of it, and he's going to beat Casey Drake out of the pits. Steven Sims is he did not come to pit road. He's being shown at the front. See what he decides to do here. See who else we can get a quick word from. Hey, Casey Drake, this is James and Taylor in the broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah.
Well, you're having a pretty solid run, able to lead for a little bit there. Saw a couple moments where your truck got really sideways, but other than those two little deals, how's the truck out there handling for you?
Yeah, it did get a little loose as the tires wore off, but at the beginning of the run, I felt really good. I think I got by Richard, and then who was it that hit the wall? Somebody hit the wall, the leader. I can't remember who it was,
45.
but Austin. Yeah, Austin hit the wall. I don't think coming off of 2, and I got by him luckily, and we just had clean air and pulled away a little bit, and then the car just kind of tires wore out and got a little loose.
Well, you might catch a big break here if the 79 of Steven Sims actually stayed on the track like he is currently doing. So that would put you second on the inside line, and that could help you get by Richard Springer on this restart.
Yeah, believe he pitted under green pretty recently, but yeah, inside definitely is probably the better lane going into turn 1. So hopefully we can get by Richard. Richard's probably the biggest competition I had in the last run, so hopefully do good here.
Well, certainly best of luck out there, and certainly good to see you have this kind of run. I know it's been a bit of a rough stretch, but keep it up, and hopefully we talk to you later as a top 3 finisher, or maybe even better.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Yep, good luck out there. So Steven Sims stays on the racetrack. I still don't believe... Casey Drake alluded to that he might have pitted under green, but looking back at his lap times here, it doesn't look like he did. I see... Actually, I see him under caution here. Oh, I see what it was. It looks like he came down pit road while it was still green and right before David Wellborn spun. So that was a huge break for him. And that's what I thought Marvin Wingfield was shooting for, but he decided to come back down pit road. But wow, what a break that could be for the 79, making a stop under green and having the caution come out right after he makes his stop, which puts him right at the front. And again, like we've been talking about, doesn't have any laps on those tires, so it really propelled him to the front without any consequences. Although, what I'm sure that's still probably hurting him is the aero damage he has on that truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Air is a big key here, especially with these trucks. Drafting plays a huge factor with these trucks, and it's probably going to be the key to winning here.
Yeah, I mean, clean air is definitely important, but yeah, just the aero damage that can slow you down on the straightaway. That could really hurt, but see what he can do with this big break that he's been given. Because we're going to have 26 laps to go. As the pace car is about to duck off. There it goes, and Steven Sims is on it.
Might have been a jump start there, actually. We'll have to see what race control decides. I don't think the pace car crossed that line.
I think that... I'm not so sure, James, but it seems like as we see Casey Drake pull right up on Steven Sims as well as Springer, it seems like the pace car drops off really quick. and the green flag comes out immediately afterwards. But they both get by Steven Sims. And Springer had to really woe it down to that tunnel turn, and that gives Casey Drake the lead. Here comes Holloway with a big run, with nowhere to take it, as he sees his teammate down there on the inside dropping backwards. So perhaps Steven Sims getting that lucky break could be a big break for Casey Drake as well after losing the lead off the pit stops. Starting second on that inside lane as opposed to starting first on the outside.
You see Marvin Wingfield going up the middle between the 79 and the 9. He's going to try to take both of those positions away.
I think if Marvin Wingfield was riding in the back the first half of this race, I think that strategy is all out the window now. It's time to go. Oh! David Wellborn and Corey Sherman. Sherman hits the inside wall on the exit of turn 2, and we're under caution. Sherman gets the truck headed the right direction, but suffers quite a bit of damage on the front end.
Yeah, you see the 96 just comes up and hits the left rear of his truck, and unfortunately Sherman hits his nose on that inside wall. I'm not sure if that's going to be a lot of damage or if it was a gentle hit. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, saw Wellborn make a big move up the middle, entering the tunnel turn around Austin Cothran and Steven Sims, but just couldn't get that truck to turn down. As you saw his angle entering the corner, since he had the 79 under him, he couldn't really turn that thing down to the yellow line and just washed up the track and got into the 6. And that looks like some pretty significant damage for Corey Sherman. See the splitter and the hood buckled up. That's too bad. He was having a solid run, was running second in the early stages of this race. Well, now let's see what these guys do. So I would assume pit road is open this time by, and it looks like
faked it.
Some are coming in and some are not. Austin Collins is in.
To the last second and pulled back onto the racetrack.
Well, Collins brings Holloway, Rogers, Sims, and a few others.
Taking a look at the point standings, this is prior to tonight. We have 4 drivers with multiple wins on the year. Jeffrey Meyer has 4 wins. That's the most. He's the points leader. Jeremy Hebel has 2 wins. Richard Springer, who's running in second, he has 2 wins on the year. Adam Ferree, who was caught up in that wreck earlier, has 2 wins as well. Dakota Wilkins, Daniel Holloway, and Austin Collins are all drivers with 1 wins on the year. As we get closer to the playoffs, a win's going to be a lot of insurance to ensure that you make these playoffs. Casey Drake is one of those drivers who's right now he's safe in the playoffs based on points, but he's on the bubble. If he got a win right now, this would definitely lock him into the playoffs.
Yeah, this would be huge for him if he's able to hold on and win this race. And I got a little bit of a stat for you. Last year, Spencer Tart won this race. It was his first of the season, and he started in the 12th position. Casey Drake tonight started from the 12th position and could possibly get his first win tonight. But someone who's going to really hurt in points is Robbie Armstrong, who is not in this field tonight. And we understand he actually took up a new job So we're not, and as he is my teammate in Dysfunctional Patriots Racing, we're not really sure if it's gonna affect his iRacing schedule of any kind. But if it does, that could open up another spot for someone. Looks like they did not get one to go, so it looks like we have some time to talk to someone real quick. Marvin Wingfield, you got a copy, sir? It's the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, kind of an up and down race for you to this point. Started in the back, kind of rode around for a little while, it appeared, kept the truck out of trouble, pitted under green, and then got a caution, and here you are running up into 4th place. But a lot of split strategy on this during this caution flag. Some pitted, some did not. You're one of the ones who decided not to. How come?
Track position. I felt like I've had a really fast truck all race. Been able to pass a lot of trucks, but I think my time is coming short, and I'd rather take the track position over anything else.
Well, you're going to have about, looks like 20 laps to go to try to get it done here. You've seen the outside line not be so superior on restarts. What do you think you'll be able to come up with here?
Well, I'm hoping, I don't know what line Casey Drake's going to get picked, but I'm hoping Springer takes the outside, and I think he's fast enough we can try to make it work, and, we'll be ahead of the checkup is really what I'm hoping.
And perhaps those two can get to racing each other, as we've seen a lot tonight, found just how much you can catch up when these guys in front of you start to battle each other side by side. But you're coming to the 1 to go signal right here. Going to restart 2nd on the outside lane. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you all.
As the field is now double stacked once again, we're going to have 20 to go when this thing gets back racing.
We're going to have 13 trucks on the lead lap. Adam Purcell continues to get more free passes. At one point he was 4 laps down. If he gets one more, he'll be back on the lead lap. Of course, that's definitely not unheard of in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series, as David Wellborn was 8 laps down at Gateway, made all of them up by virtue of the lucky dog, and came back for a top 10 finish. So it's certainly possible, and we know how big that could be for Purcell. As we talked about at the top of the show, he's just under the cutoff line as far as playoffs are concerned.
Yeah, if you thought the first 50 laps of this one was crazy, get ready, because these last 20 are going to be insane.
Yeah, I second that. It took the words right out of my mouth.
Unfortunately, that big wreck in the very first lap did affect a lot of these contenders, but we still have plenty of trucks on the racetrack.
Here they come. Going to be 20 laps to go. There goes the pace car. And green flag. Drake gets a good start.
He does indeed, as Richard Springer is probably going to file in right behind him. There he goes. Actually, he's going to look to his inside.
And he forced his way down to the bottom once he got clear of the 57 of Barry.
See Marvin Wingfield on that high side.
Springer drifts up into the wall. You can kind of see that.
Oh, evasive maneuver by the 19 to Richard's inside. 45 is going to follow, as well as Daniel Holloway.
Springer's dropping back now.
Yeah, I
He
think
hit it
that
pretty
hurt his
hard.
truck. Probably not going to drive the same after that.
Well, look at the right front. You can see you can actually see the right front tire is Might affect the tow out on that truck. Well, that's too bad, given how much he's led this race from the pole position. That helps Casey Drake, though. It's one less contender he might not have to worry about, as Jordan Berry is taking over second, Marvin Wingfield third, and side by side for fourth between Holloway and Cawthron. And with Jared Rogers lurking behind them. So back in the back of the field, David Wellborn continuing to make some pretty aggressive moves, but he makes it work as he tries to get back into the top 10, and he and the 6 are running right next to each other once again. Here comes Wingfield. He's got a run on the 57 of Berry, trying to beat him down into turn 1. He's got the nose alongside and drives it in pretty deep, but keeps it stuck down there on the bottom. A little wiggle there, keeps the momentum up, and he might be able to clear him on the exit of the tunnel turn here. Behind them, Jarrett Rogers making a move on Holloway, gets it done as
That's for fourth.
Rogers moves into fourth, and Wingfield takes over second and is going to set his sights on Casey Drake as Holloway loses a couple positions.
Wingfield was robbed of that win last time. He wants it this time. He's hungry for that win.
And you can tell just how disappointed he was, but at the same time, he had a really good attitude, if you can recall in his post-race interview that day of, wow, he's just going to move on and not let it affect him too much, but I still wonder how much of that last lap here in June is on his mind. As you know, he sure is hungry for that first truck win. And meanwhile, Casey Drake, who's also looking for his truck win, is trying to be smooth and not make any mistakes. See what kind of lap times they come up with here. Drake with 55.32 and Wingfield with a 55.45. So Drake about a tenth and change quicker. See Matt Vanderkoy exiting pit road, 25 laps down. Still out there trying to pick up as many points as possible.
As you see down that long straightaway, everybody's single filed out. It's going to be basically up to the mistakes the guy in front of you makes in order to pass, using that draft to suck up to them and then possibly dive bombing into the corner. It's going to be really hard to make passes now.
And Richard Springer, after hitting the wall on that restart, has dropped back now. He's been passed by David Wellborn, and he's still barely hanging on to a top 10 spot, as here comes the 6 of Sherman.
Casey Drake was faster that time by, as we have Jordan Berry putting pressure on Marvin Wingfield.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when you're in second position trying to hunt down that leader and you got the third place guy right up on you. Comes Holloway trying to fight his way back to the bumper of Rogers for fourth. And that time Wingfield about 0.2 faster than Drake.
Yes, he was, and If he can do that maybe 5 more times, he should be right with him, maybe not past.
You see Drake up the racetrack in turn 1. He was also pretty high through the tunnel turn last time. Boy, who was that? Austin Cothran way down on the apron, down off turn 1. Well, this time right on the yellow line is the 87, but he actually starting to push up through there.
Yeah, I think tires are starting to get to him. 15 laps now, 16 laps on this.
And Wingfield's got a big run coming through here. He's going to pull up right to the rear bumper of that 87 as they enter turn 1.
He was half a second faster than Casey Drake that last lap. As you see, Jared Rogers getting by the 57, taking 3rd place away. 26 is now to the inside of the 57, trying to get 4th.
Coming up to 12 to go this time. Pretty good corner by Drake right there, but it's been off turn 3 the last couple times where he's had his issues.
26 got loose.
That's where Drake had that big moment earlier. And looks like he starts to push right about here through the center, and then it starts to get a little loose on exit, but he maintains that same gap. Still about just 0.3 of a second. Wingfield a skosh quicker that time. And meanwhile, behind them, Holloway and Barry fighting for 4th. And Jared Rogers, after passing both of them, has driven off and left them as these two are left to battle each other. We got a spin off turn 1. That's the 77 of Roy Grande, and the caution flag is out.
Let's see if we can see what happened. Oh, he just got loose off the corner. 99 did a great job getting around him without making any contact. 77 did a great job locking it down, not hitting anything.
Now that sets up another trip to pit road.
Now the question is, with going to be under 10 laps to go, do people pit here? Is somebody going to try to stay out or even take 2?
I would assume these guys would pit, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we see someone gamble. Curious to see what Richard Springer will do. Because he knows he's down on speed and won't be able to win the race from where he's at after hitting the wall. And he's got 2 wins in his pocket. And meanwhile, our top 3, all of them are still looking for their first Dynasty Racing League Truck Series victory. Actually, 6 of the top 7. The only one in the top 7 that has won is Daniel Holloway. Restart should come with about 7 to go, around there. And if I'm reading scoring correctly, the 58 should get the free pass once again, and that would put him back on the lead lap. As here comes the leaders. Will anybody gamble? Looks like everybody on the lead lap is in. See if anybody goes for 2 tires, perhaps. Wingfield is down and away. Drake is down and away. It's going to be close between those two. Coming to the line, looks like Wingfield might have got it, and looks like he did. Wow. Just by about a quarter of a truck length or so, just one front fender. I guess that's good. Oh, that's good enough.
Which is bringing on pit road, 40 seconds and counting. Looks like he's getting some repairs done after that major hit he took to the outside wall.
And well, luckily he's got how long it takes to make a caution lap as he's down and away. Had enough time to make those repairs. Let's see if we can pull someone in here real quick.
Maybe someone from the...
Daniel Holloway, you got a copy, sir?
I sure do.
Well, kind of an eventful race for you, kind of like some of the other guys we've brought in here. Got some damage on that lap 1 wreck, but has kept the truck out of trouble for the most part since then, and gonna take this restart in 4th. What do you think it's gonna take to get that 26 into victory lane? Actually, it looks like 3rd.
Yeah, just updated. So starting 3rd behind Marvin. I think it's 2 to go right now. What, about 6-7 laps to go? Got to go for it. You know, if not, hopefully top 3, be in the podium. That first wreck, first caution right there, only had like 20 seconds of damage. So I don't think it really hurt the vehicle as far as that. So it's handling good. I wish it was a long green flag because it felt more. Gets loose towards the longer runs, and that's where I felt like I was coming in.
So it looks like it's going to be about 7 laps to go. Where do you think you're better than Drake and Wingfield?
I'm not sure now. You know, depends on how good of a start I get here. In 9 to 57, 87, 19, we're all pretty strong. So anything can happen. One little mistake, somebody can make a mistake and cost a win.
Well, you're in position right now. If Dakota Wilkins finishes where he does, and you're in position to overtake him for 2nd in points, but that 2nd victory would sure be pretty sweet as we get closer to the playoffs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, more bonus points for playoffs. That's the key, but still looking for a good finish, even though I might not win it, but I still want a good finish. You know, especially top 5. But there's quite a few good drivers in here that can easily win this, but it's going to get interesting this last 6-7 laps now.
Yep, it sure will. Looks like you're coming to 1 to go, so we'll let you focus, and good luck on this restart.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys again shortly.
Yep, we'll see. And it will be 7 laps to go. And of course, not out of the equation, a possible 1 attempt at a green-white checkered. Which, if I can recall, the first Pocono race was the first green-white checkered in Dynasty Racing League history. And we know what kind of finish we had that night. And Marvin Wingfield in the same exact position he was in June, leading this race after keeping us struck out of trouble. Let's see if he can get it done. And like we mentioned, the top 7 drivers now, actually minus Daniel Holloway. But other than Daniel Holloway, the top 6 out of the top 7 have never been to victory lane in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. How sweet it would be if one of these drivers can pick up their first win tonight. As the field enters turn 3, with the pace car about to duck off. Still got 14 trucks on this lead lap. And if you can recall, after Marvin Wingfield's heartbreak, not only did he not win the race, he ended up 13th in the final results. So still a lot of points can fluctuate as the green flag comes out.
Oh,
And
check
Wingfield,
up there, the 6 gets hit,
Yeah.
but everybody keeps it straight. Wingfield with a great jump. 9 looking to his inside. He's going to push him down into 1.
he didn't get a very good initial start, but after all that checkup, he's out ahead of the pack as Jared Rogers took advantage. But he's going to go from 4th to 2nd. That was weird. Coming to that restart.
David Walborn's up to 4th.
Oh, 3 wide entering turn 2.
Yeah, 3 wide. Very tricky, but it looks like they're going to be able to sort it out. 3 wide there, Richie Springer's in the mix.
Jordan Berry was the big loser on that, because he's still stuck on the outside with Springer and Sims and company breathing down his neck.
And,
6 laps to go now.
3-man battle for the lead as you see Marvin Wingfield going low, trying to break that draft. I don't think it's going to matter though. Casey Drake was giving the 9 a shot.
And now Drake's going to try to get by the 9.
This is what Wingfield's going to want to see. If these two can stay side by side in the mirror for about another half lap, he should be able to break up maybe a half-second gap between them.
Rogers holds off Drake for the moment.
And there goes Holloway taking 4th away from Wellborn.
Yep, and he's got him cleared. Coming to 5 to go this time. Make that now 2 Bad Boys Racing teammates now in the top 5. And of course, one of them leading this race as Holloway gets into the wall off turn 3. Drake and Rogers are hooked up and Wingfield trying to block their momentum. Comes Rogers, trying to stick the nose.
He's there, but is he going to be able to hold him off? Wingfield might have that momentum on the high
Drake
side.
make it 3 wide. Here comes Drake trying to make it 3 wide for the lead.
Wow, 3 wide for the lead. Here they come down the long straightaway. Wingfield blocks.
And that was big for Casey Drake to make it 3 wide, and he completes the pass going into the tunnel turn, but can he hold it? Rogers going to try to cross him over.
Oh, he blocks. Casey Drake with the block. Rogers still going to look to his inside, though. After what happened...
Now roles are reversed as maybe, let's see if Rogers can give Drake the push that he needs. We saw Drake be able to push Rogers up to the bumper in Wingfield. As we got 4 laps to go.
After what happened a couple of weeks ago, I know Rogers is really hungry for that win. You do see that damage on his spoiler. I wonder if that's affecting him at all.
Well, that's been there for quite a while, because if you recall, that was on pit road with Steven Sims, but that's been there since about lap 15 or so.
Lap truck in the way, this might be an issue.
That's Matt Vanderkoy. They sorted out.
He sticks it in the wall. The lap car sticks it in the wall to let them by. That was a great job by Matt Vanderkoy. As 4th place, David Woodward's now passing.
Drake made up some ground through the tunnel turn that time. Oh, look at, he pulls right into his back bumper through turn 3. Coming to 3 laps to go. Wingfield with a defensive move, trying to protect down low.
9 more corners. It's going to be a race to the finish. Casey Drake going to look to his inside here in 1. I don't think he's going to have enough, though. Wingfield's going to have that momentum on the high side.
And this is what Rogers wants. He wants them to mix it up so he can catch back up. And again, Wingfield drops low, trying to break the draft. This is where Drake made up a lot of ground the last lap. Oh, but it's just tough to do when you're tucked right up underneath that truck with the dirty air.
We'll see what happens through 3.
All three of these guys giving it all they've got as they're coming to 2 laps to go. Could one of these three get their first win in the Truck Series? Drake pulls alongside the 19 of Wingfield. He might have the position entering turn 1. He drives it in deep. Will it stick? Slides up a little bit off the bottom. And now Rogers is back into the fray.
That could have been disastrous if Casey Drake slid up another 2 inches. He would have gotten. Great job by the 19, able to use that momentum and keep the lead. If these guys can make it another half track, get to the white flag, there will be no more cautions, no more restarts. This is going to be a race to the finish between these 3 drivers.
Well, it looks pretty intense back behind these 3 leaders. So we'll see if they make it back. But Marvin Wingfield led on the last lap in the June race, did not get the win. Will he do it tonight?
Casey Drake gonna look high this time. He knows Wingfield had momentum both times through 1.
Oh, he gives Wingfield the bumper. Gets him a little sideways.
A lot cleaner
goes
than
by him.
when Thomas did it to him last time, huh?
At least Wingfield's, he has a chance to come back on him.
Yes.
But Drake now in control as they entered the tunnel turn.
I think it's going to be the bump in 3. I think Wingfield's going to do it in 3 right here.
Let's see, can he get close enough? Will we see a payback? Final time into turn 3. Casey Drake trying to hold off Marvin Wingfield after giving him the bumper in turn 1.
I think he's going to have it. Marvin Wingfield
If he
using that
breaks
gas
the
looking
draft,
high.
Casey Drake gets the win.
Wow, what a race for Casey Drake.
Oh, and behind them, a lot of jostling further back. David Wellborn was going to finish 4th, but he hit the wall exiting turn 3 to the checkers, and he drops to 6th. Jordan Berry comes home in 4th, and Holloway in 5th. But man, 2 Pocono races in a row. Marvin Wingfield leads at the white flag, but doesn't get the victory. And Casey Drake. I told you, James, last year this race was won from the 12th starting position.
Yeah, you
with
did
Spencer
call
Tart,
it.
and that's where Casey Drake started tonight in 12th.
First win of the year, and this is going to lock him into the playoffs. As long as he can maintain that 80% mark through the regular season, the win and you're in will apply.
Sure, gonna get some differing opinions once again, but at least a lot better outcome.
As you see, Daniel Holloway giving him a little love tap. A little bit aggressive on that one. You see that rear spoiler went up on the 87. But we'll see if the 87 is going to burn it down, and we can also grab him. There he goes. He's burning it down in the check pattern.
He doesn't have much experience doing this, so
No, this
there
is
he
his
goes.
first time. Let's see if we can pull him in for an interview.
See him down here in spotter 2. Give him a second to have his fun. Pokes the nose up on against the wall. Hey, Casey, you got a copy?
Yes.
Well, you fight after so much struggling in the last couple of months and all of last season. You finally get your first win in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. Take us through that last lap move entering turn 1 against Marvin Wingfield.
Well, I wasn't trying to pass him in 1. He just I wasn't trying to bump him there, but I just got a really good middle, I guess, and then I just made some contact and moved him up. I wasn't trying to do that, like I said, and just got underneath him and pulled away.
Well, it's definitely a lot better outcome if that's going to happen compared to what happened in the June race. But when you came around turn 2 and turn 3, were you expecting the bumper to get? Did you expect them to return the favor?
Kind of in turn 3, I kind of like went in a little bit deeper than I usually do, because I thought he was gonna maybe like do a little bump and run type thing, since it's a lot flatter in turn 3, so it'd be a lot easier to do it there. But he didn't really get to my bumper So kind of lucky. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened if that he could get to my bumper.
Well, I've got a quick stat for you, real quick. Spencer Tart won this race a year ago. It was his first Truck Series win, and he started 12th. Tonight, you get your first truck win here at Pocono, and guess where you started? 12th. So how about that, right?
Yeah, didn't have the greatest qualifying. Not the fastest hot lap speed, just like 1 lap speed. But we get it done.
Well, certainly a big shot in the arm for you, and you're definitely playoff bound with this win in your back pocket. And we go to Eldora next week for a little dirt track action. How do you feel about next week?
I'm not very good at dirt, specifically in the trucks. Have to do some practice probably for that race. Not really a big like dirt racer in iRacing, but it should be fun and a lot different than what we're used to.
And certainly got to feel a lot better going into a track that you don't feel as confident at with the win in your back pocket, I would guess. James, you got anything for Casey before we let him give his shout-outs?
Yeah, Casey, man, congrats on your win. You've come a long way since you first joined us here at Dynasty Racing League, and I'm glad that you were able to hold off Marvin Wingfield. I know he was hungry after last time. Marvin almost had the win, but it was taken away from him, so I knew he was really eager to get that win here at Pocono, but you were able to pass him and hold him off. That was a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you can do the rest of the season and the playoffs.
Thank you.
Any shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and obviously Dynasty Racing League for putting on this league.
Well, congrats again. You can breathe a little easier the next few months before the playoffs begin, and go get you some practice at Eldora, and we'll look to see you next week.
Yep. Thank you.
And that was our winner, Casey Drake, and the man who came so close to winning at Pocono once again. Oops, moved him into the wrong thing. There he is. Marvin Winfield, you got a copy of Serious the Booth again?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, 2 Pocono races in a row where you lead entering the last lap but don't come away with a victory. At least you came home in second this time. Was it a fair move by Casey Drake to give you that tap in turn 1, or was that a little more... What do you think of it?
Yeah, it was fair. I mean, it's racing. We're both hungry for wins. I don't hold anything against him. I feel like I was a little more prepared for that because I kind of knew what was coming this time more than I did last time. So it felt like the exact same scenario as last time, but I'm glad it was Casey who got the win. Disappointed for sure, but I finished the race this time, got second, and I'm pretty. Like I said, it was a fair move for sure.
Well, I was, just like we were saying, at least you were able to save it this time and come home second as opposed to 13th in the last race. We just spoke to Casey, and he said he drove it into turn 3, coming to the checkers a little harder than he thought of because he wasn't too sure if you were going to give it back to him. If you could get back to his bumper, would you have repaid the favor?
I think I could have gotten back to his bumper, but I'm not gonna move a guy. I mean, I should, but I'm not that aggressive.
Well, I know definitely not the outcome you wanted, but a great strategy, and you certainly have shown that you can give these guys a run for their money here at Pocono. James, you got anything real quick for Marvin?
Yeah, Marvin, good finish tonight. I know you're very eager to get that win. You finished second place quite a lot this season. I'm sure you're going to get one by the time the playoffs begin, but going to Eldora next week, what are your thoughts on that?
Probably gonna do the exact same thing I did this week and just ride in the back, let everyone else figure what they want to do out, and see where we go.
Alright,
Well,
it
we're
should be.
definitely looking. Yep, definitely looking forward to it. Sorry, James. You got any quick shout outs before we let you go, Marvin?
So today's my anniversary, and I want to thank my wife for allowing me to come out and do this. It's a blast, and
Wow,
I'm
very lucky.
Wow.
yeah, for sure. But my teammate Wellborn, he was up there a lot, gotten caught into some traffic, I think, but he was helping me out. He's been he's been sim racing a little bit longer than I have, so he was helping me out there at the end. But like I said, or I mean, I always say it, but it's always true. You guys do a really good job, and I appreciate all y'all do for sim racing and for me especially.
I appreciate the kind words, and happy to hear about your anniversary, and certainly wish you and your wife the very best. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
And our third place finisher on the night, Jarrett Rogers. He's disconnected from the lobby, but we'll
I
still get
got it.
him in for the interview.
Yep, I got him right here. Before I pull him in, how about that? Because last night was my teammate Chris James's anniversary. He and his wife, and he wasn't at the racetrack, but Wingfield was here tonight on his. That was pretty neat. Hey, Jared Rogers, I got a copy, sir. It's the booth once again.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I saw a solid podium finish, rebounding after that pit road deal with Steven Sims. Again, so close yet so far from that first win in the Truck Series in the Dynasty Racing League. Certainly looked like those two were going to duke it out, and they did. But if you had another lap, do you think you could have caught them two and passed them both?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, they were battling pretty good. I probably could have got a little, say, side by side a little bit longer. Hard to say with that 4X in the pits kind of hurt me a little bit. Hard to say if it really gave me disadvantage or not. But overall, not a bad night. Definitely not a big fan of this track. So turned out all right for me, I'd say.
Yeah, well, how much of a sigh of relief, I would think, as compared to the June race. Definitely a lot cleaner than that one before, despite a rough start. That certainly had to feel good.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It was fun not pacing around this track for 50 laps and going 2 lap screen for sure. Actually being able to do a little racing up front for sure is always good. Sucks that we had the big one early, but that's just part of it, I guess.
We continue to say that you're closing in on that first win. It's just a matter of time before you finally do it. We're going to the dirt track at Eldora next Wednesday night. How do you feel about your dirt track skills?
Yeah, about that. I'll let y'all know next week how that goes.
I hear you. James, you got anything for Jarrett?
Honestly, no. I think you pretty much covered it all, Taylor. Glad to see you at the podium finish. I know heartbreak last 2 weeks ago, I should say, at Kentucky. But you're definitely on your way to get your first win like Marvin Wingfield is, and I'm sure both of you will be in victory lane by the time this season is over. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I just kind of thank you guys, of course, putting on the streams and not. It's always fun to go back and watch these and have a good time with show some friends, and of course putting on the DRL for putting on the race itself. Of course, always a shout out to my boy Austin Collins back there. Had a good solid finish ran tonight. Got caught up in some traffic, but overall pretty good finish for the team.
Yep, a P3 and a P7 for Highwaymen Motorsports. Well, congratulations again on your third place run tonight, and we'll see you next week at Eldora.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
And with that, that's pretty much going to wrap things up here. Let's go through the final results.
Yeah, Casey Drake picking up his first career win, leading 28 laps tonight. Marvin Wingfield coming home second, leading 8 laps. Jarrett Rogers comes home third. Jordan Berry fourth. Daniel Holloway fifth. And David Wilburn Jr. finishing sixth. I thought he had a top 5, ended up in the wall on the final lap, final corner. He did lead 1 lap. Austin Collins comes home 7th. Austin Cawthron, leading 6 laps, comes home 8th. Roy Grande 9th, and Steven Sims leading 3 laps will round out the top 10. 11th belongs to Richard Springer. He was our pole sitter tonight, leading 24 laps. Corey Sherman 12th. Dustin Eicher 13th. 58 of Adam Purcell comes home 14th. Adam Breeden 15th. Jeffrey Meyer, the points leader, 16th. Dakota Woken 17th, PJ O'Leary 18th, Cody Barber 19th, Matt Vanderkoy, comes home 20th. 21st was Cody Gatsky, Trent Helt 22nd, Terrence Sinay 23rd, and Adam Ferry 24th. And David Wright was the RC for tonight. The next race for the DRL iRacing Truck Series will be at Eldora for the Eldora Dirt Classic. That is Wednesday, August 7th, 2019 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the half-mile dirt track for 75 laps. Be sure to tune in next week. The next broadcast on DRL TV will be the Dynasty Racing League iRacing Cup Series at the Glen 110, Watkins Glen International. That is Monday, August 5th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Gonna go road course racing for the second time in the Cup Series season. Should be a lot of fun to see that one. Going through the credits real quick, we got to thank James Pandoff, the owner of Dynasty Racing League. Financial support is by James Pandoff. Thank you to Martin Wenzel and Jordan Gonzalez for doing all the graphics you see on our Facebook page, our website, and even here on the broadcast. Technical support belongs to Jordan Gonzalez and Martin Wenzel. Marketing, thank you, James Pandoff. Broadcasting, thank you to everybody that broadcast for DRL TV. David Wellborn Jr., Taylor Butch and Benjamin, Martin Wenzel, Getty Buckner, James Pandoff, Ryan Branch, who helped out with the Cup Series earlier in the year. Thank you to people who have been special guests recently, Spencer Tart, Mike Springer, David Wright, to name a few. Thank you to everybody that race controls, Martin Wenzel, Getty Buckner, James Pandoff, Robbie Armstrong, Dakota Wilkins, Ryan Hesgard, Jeremy Hebel, Richard Springer, Eric Weatherholt, and David Wright, who's been doing the Truck Series as of late. Thank you to all the admins in the league, James Pandoff, Getty Buckner, Martin Wenzel, Ryan Branch, and David Wellborn Jr. Well, Taylor, what a race. Casey Drake picking up his first win of the year. What are your thoughts on tonight?
I was a terrific race, I think. Of course, we know a lot of people came into this race with some apprehension, I would think, after what happened last time we were here, but a lot cleaner show and another exciting finish. And real quick, I got one more wild stat for you regarding our winner. I told you Spencer Tart got his first win in the Truck Series at Pocono last year, starting 12th, and Casey Drake did the same thing tonight. Drake led 28 laps tonight. Last year, Spencer Tart led 28 laps en route to victory. So it's quite amazing how history can repeat itself. And I believe Spencer was driving truck number 28 as well. So that's pretty cool, I think. But certainly, again, congrats to Casey Drake. Definitely kind of got off the schneid, if you will, after a rough summer stretch. And definitely looking forward to Eldora next week.
Absolutely. And we're going to wrap things up here on DRL TV. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was the DRL iRacing Truck Series Pocono 175. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night, everyone.